Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Labs Garage. Today's episode is going to be part one of a multi-part series of a interior budget build on my 1980 Dodge D150. Now typically Mopars and budgets don't tend to get along, but I've done pretty good getting this interior to where it is now. Keep in mind, a few weeks ago this thing had Flintstone floors. Now I've got pretty solid floors in here. And I did it all on a budget. New seat, new carpet, completely redone the dash, doors, everything inside. And I'm going to show you how. Stay tuned. Hey y'all, my name's Aaron and I'm a car addict. And these are my assistants, Caroline and Nellie. Together, we are Two Labs Garage. We're a car YouTube channel. We love old cars. We love old trucks. We go to events, shows, drives. We do repairs, maintenance, budget bills. Let you in on some of my tips and tricks I've learned over the years. And when we get the chance, we revive them. So come join us here at Two Labs Garage, where we're going to have fun putting old relics like this back on the road on a budget, and most importantly all, we're just going to have fun with old cars. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to go ahead and take this seat out and start to address the floors. I got a couple reasons why I've decided to do that at this point. One, I'm waiting for a part to get the brakes completely fixed, waiting on a booster. And second, I have another seat. It's in my way. I want it gone. So anyway, I'm going to take this seat out. Now it's time to figure out how this thing bolts in. Alright, so up under the truck, I found the bolts to the seats there in the cab frame. Not actually the truck frame, that's this. But the cab frame and the nuts on the bottom, so evidently that's where I'm going to have to come get them. I'm thinking they either look like a half or a 9/16 nut. I'll go grab both in my impact and go ahead and zing these on out of here so I can put my new seat in. That's what happens when they don't get enough attention. Anyway, it is a 1/2 inch nut. And I'm going to move my head because it's about to rain rust under here. Off to the other side. That's out. Wonder how long before the dogs claim it as their outdoor bed. Yeah, that didn't take long. Happens every time I take a seat out of one. And I also have to sit in the new one before I get it in too. Alright. Here it is. I've pulled the mat out, pulled the seat out. Really the floor under the seat doesn't look too bad. We got a couple holes, but it's the floorboards that really have the Flintstone thing going on. So I'm going to have to, looks like my next step will be get the shop vac out here, clean all this mess up, take the shifter boot off, and then I'm going to be putting some floors in here like I do on a budget. The correct way to fix these floors would be to get some new or used or reproduction pans or something and put in here and weld them up and all. Yeah, that's not happening. We're on a budget. So I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Show you another thing real quick here. This is a organizer from behind the back seat of those Dodges. Found them at Junkyard. I gotta trim some tabs right here to get it to go a little further back, but that'll be nice just to have something kind of organizing things behind the seat. And yeah, there's no shortage of those trucks in the junkyard. I did look for Fords and Chevys. I couldn't find anything of a nature in those trucks, but the Dodges, the regular cabs, some of them have these. So just a little tip if you want something behind your seat. Okay, I got the stuff that I guess you could call it a floor out, and I vacuumed it up. Now the old rusty metal inside, I just need to cut that out. So I'm going to be getting my Sawzall and my grinder ready. Alright, so I'm going to be cutting these floors out with a combination of grinders and a Sawzall. Now how I decide whether or not I'm using the grinder or the Sawzall, I find the Sawzall does faster work and I don't go through as many blades as I go through wheels. However, when you get some metal that's just bouncing around like this, that's when I tend to go with the grinder. So anyway, I'm going to start up here and just see what I need to do. So to patch in the floors, like I said, I'm not welding in floor pans. I'm not even using real floor pans. What I am using, however, is this sand material. I was helping a friend clean out a garage. They gave this to me. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. And it's a thick enough aluminum that I can't just crease it like that, but I can still form it. Also, for the aluminum, I'll have to worry about rust. And I'm going to put the orange side down because there's a little more protection on the orange side, and besides, it's kind of cool looking, but once I put carpet over, I'll never see it, so maybe while I'm under changing oil or something, I'll see it and it'll make me smile. So anyway, I got a couple pieces cut out of my sheets. So let's go show you how I cut them and put them in. Alright, so I got my aluminum marked. Going to cut a 22-inch piece off here. And then this is 20 inches wide. I'm going to take the remaining half and rip it 10 inches this way. That will do my driver's side floorboard and half of the passengers. And to cut it, I'm actually going to use a skill saw. Every time I've cut this kind of stuff in the past, I've used a jigsaw, but it means I got rip cuts and all kind of stuff to do. I want to try to keep it straight and fast. So I understand you can take a regular blade, turn it around with a carbide tip blade, turn it backwards and it'll cut the stuff out. I don't know, and this is an old worn out blade, So is this a bad idea? Probably. But I don't know. This is how I'm doing it. I'm not saying it's the right way. By the way, did I mention PPE? I should be wearing ear and eye protection because my ears are ringing right now. But I'm just going to go ahead and cut the other side, and probably wish I had put on hearing protection. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is test fit it in here. And for that, I'm just setting the metal down. I'm putting it back as far as it needs to go. And up front, I see we got a little bit of a gap right here where the kick panel starts to turn in some. So I'll make a mark where that starts, approximately. And about how far my gap is, I'm going to put up there. These are just approximates. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pair of snips and cut that shape in. Alright, perfect. No, will it get the job done? Oh yeah, this will do the job nicely. Also, I'm looking right in here. For it to do what I want, I'm going to have to put a relief cut in it. So I'm just kind of imagining my relief cut, drawing it with this marker that doesn't half work. Cut that. Good enough. Oh yeah, that'll work nice. Now another thing I want to accomplish here is I want to keep as much moisture and exhaust and all as I can out. So I'm going to do a little sealer. Stupid steering wheel. For this I am using what I call tar in a tube. This you could get at the roofing section of Lowe's, this particular kind. I will tell y'all that if you go to one of those big box stores, whether it's Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, or somewhere else, if you go down the caulk aisle, they do sell this stuff or a different brand of it. And just by going to the roofing section and looking over there, I was able to get another brand, 2 tubes for less than what that 1 tube would have cost me. Alright, so I'm going to put my tar in the tube down here on my flange. There we go. Now I'm just going to go along here, tar all this up. And now, this stuff's messy, so just get ready. Be warned. Alright, so I got in there. Now, go use these 5/8 of an inch self-tapping screws. And I'm going to need to get a bit real quick to drive these in. I'll be back and I'm going to start punching this down. And just wherever you feel like you need them. I'm kind of going with guessing 6 inches. No real science to it. Alright, and when you need to just sit down a little bit, use your tension getter. Attention received. Okay, on this side, I'm going to have to add a little piece in right here. And I got a piece of metal just right for that. Normally, if I just had a hole that was this size, I would use a cookie sheet from the dollar store. That's right. And they do pretty good for floor patches if you got a small one. Alright, let's just take a quick look here. These are by no means stamped floor pans, reproductions or originals. They're not welded in, they're just zip screwed. And I got them sealed up with tar rather than auto body seam sealer. But not bad. In fact, it'd probably look a little better if I just painted them black, but I don't see needing that. So now, gotta get all this nonsense and rigmarole out of the cab. Do a couple small things, like replace that dimmer switch on the high beams. And we're ready to start putting some stuff back in here. Well, I gotta say, I'm a little bit on the impressed side about how this all came out. Floors of this truck really come together. Got those wires right there. But overall, not bad. When you're redoing an old vehicle, you have to make things worse before you make them better. Alright, so up in the cab of a truck here, I'll start really prepping this middle part of the dash of paint, because before I get the carpet vinyl installed and my dash pieces and all, I really want to get a coat of paint on this. I decided to go with black because, well, black goes with anything. And I unscrewed the cover here of a glove box, took the insert out. There wasn't much left of the dash right here to take out. But if you're wondering how that pad comes off, it's got these little plastic studs with speed nuts. There. This is what they look like on the actual dash pad. Anyway, first thing to prep, I'm going to come up here with a Scotch Brite pad and just clean and scuff. If you wonder why the instrument panel is still up here, it's because of that voltmeter. I need to move the truck, I need to be able to start it. And these Mopars, you have to have the voltmeter plugged in. I don't know why, but that's just the way we did it. So I'm not going to go too crazy with this, just clean it up, scuff it up. Now to really get in here and clean the dash. Got a nice clean rag, you know, it's the first one I could get my hands on. And I'm going to put some rubbing alcohol up here. This is one of my favorite pre-paint prep chemicals out there. And you don't have to go crazy with it. Just a dab will do you. No need to hose the whole thing down. Just a drop or two is all you need. Wow. Just seeing it wet from the alcohol really is making it look a whole lot better. You hear that humming in the background. That's the old John Deere I just revived. That'll be my 66th video. I don't know what number this one's going to be. But yeah, I got that thing revived. And it's back in service. Now, to mask off the windshield, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about. And the A-pillars and some other stuff, but that means I gotta find my masking paper. And I got no idea where it is. And get my masking tape. Again, I have no idea where that is. And when I tape it, I'm not going to worry too much about getting paint on the rubber. I mean, I'm going to try to do a halfway decent job, but if something gets on it, I am not worried about it at all. Because, well, I may attempt to repair that windshield. I don't think I'm going to be all that successful. I'll probably end up having to put a windshield in this truck, which in that case I'll put new rubber in. So, and we're also talking about black on black. It's not like I'm using white or red or yellow or some other color. It's black on black, it'll be fine. Alright, so I never did find my roll of masking paper. I don't know what I did with that. I know I used it when I made the inserts for door panels that we'll be putting in here soon. But, I just don't know. I did, however, ask my neighbors if they got the newspaper, and some hooked me up with some old newspapers, so that is what I'll use. I'll go old school on this. Go tear off some tabs of tape, stick them to my steering wheel. That way I have a free hand. Alright, so here we go. Dash taped off. Show you on this side, got the switches taped off. HVAC's taped off. And I'll be good to go now. So for paint, I'm using this. Some Rust-Oleum paint and primer, gloss black. So see how it goes. Lays down good. And naturally, the wind stops when I start painting. Yeah, I went a little heavy, so I got a few runs. Great. Now, I've tried a method once before for getting rid of the runs. Will it work? We'll find out. Like the one right here, go while it's still wet. I'll be darned, it works. It's going to require another coat, but it did get rid of the run. Alright. That's probably about 3 coats. And I'd say that dash is looking pretty daggum good. Gonna zoom you in a little bit over there. I decided I'd go ahead and throw a coat of paint on the steering column. I'm pretty positive I'm going to end up having to touch it up, but that's okay. As for the wheel, I am going to be changing that. Yeah, she's looking a lot better. But I need to give it some time to cure up now. And I need to get a shower and get dinner ready. So I'm going to work on that. And I will see you all again on this project very soon. Alright, so it is the following day. And while I was at work today, I let the truck stay open and air out. So I guess now it's take this masking off, see what we got. And after that, I'm going to go look in the dash and see what all, like, wires need to be run or anything like that. Because, you know, I'm not putting this thing back exactly like it was. So get in there, see what I need to do while I got everything out, and then start assembling. Alright, so looking around up under the dash, I found this. This is a passenger side. I guess it's supposed to be heater duct, but it just kind of looks more like a slinky now. Anyway, a couple of years ago I ordered something for my Granada, and this is what came in the mail. And while it's exactly what I ordered, it wasn't what I had in mind. So I just got this laying around. But I compared the sizes. It is just right to replace that duct. Now on the driver's side defroster, for whatever reason, that's got a hard plastic duct. But I'm going to replace the flat stuck on the passenger side with this, since I already have it. If I didn't already have this, I don't know if I'd replace it, but may as well. I got the stuff. First of all, I guess I got to get an approximate length. Yeah, that looks good. And now figure out how to cut this stuff, because I darn sure don't need the whole thing. And like I said, my Mustang might could benefit from this. But, yeah, that's good right there. Turns out Sawzall does a pretty good job. Alright, so now just to get everything where I want it. Well, this collapsed down now, which I did not want. Maybe it'd be best if I did that first. Yep. Alright, that attached everything. We're looking pretty good too. Just go put a screw or two in it, just to make sure it stays in place, but overall I'm very happy with that. Alright. Ductwork repaired. Actually looks pretty good. Now, some of y'all may have seen some of my other videos, specifically my Thunderbird ones. I like those ghost shadow lights. And while I like to put them under the doors, I also like to put them under the dash too, where they shine on the floor. And I'm hoping it's not going to cause an issue with this heater box here. Really hope not. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and at least get them wired up while I'm down here. But it would be a whole lot easier for me to, at least on this side, install it now. But that's my big thing right now. Do everything I need to do back behind the dash while I got good access. Now the other thing I really want to wire up of the truck from this state is my rear speakers. Now somebody had wired up front speakers before they left their wires in the dash, and I've looked at them. I think I'm going to be able to reuse them. So I'm not really concerned about the front wires. Sorry. My dog is very, very excited about this, so she keeps bumping into the stand. I'll have it. Go look. I want to run these wires under the carpet, and yes, this is trailer wire I'm using. I like trailer wire because it's the same size basically as speaker wire, and it's colored, so it's easy to remember what goes where and all, and I have a lot of it. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head which side the green's supposed to go on, which one the yellow's supposed to go on a trailer. I just went by, got one of each piece. And the longer one, I'm using for the longer run, which is the green one. So, just basically go fold this carpet back. Nothing's tied down at the moment. And then I'm going to run the yellow one on the driver's side. Seems like good rationale to me. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Over on this side I got a hole already where the antenna comes through, so I should be able to use that no problem. That side, hate to, but I'm going to have to make one. I gotta say, I've been waiting for this moment for a while. Time to take the door panels off. In another video, I took some from a RAM charger. Video's up here somewhere or another. And got them done up in new inserts to replace these. Now I just gotta get these off. And it's been long enough since I took the panels off the RAM charger. I have no idea how they came off or go together. But anyway, Allen screw for the window crank. Alright, so we got all in one. Thought it'd come in handy. Nope, just strip the screws out. No, seriously, it's doing fine. Bolt right there. I'll come right out. For some reason I seem to remember fighting these when I was at the junkyard. See, alright, get this handle off. Yeah. I do have some door tools. See what I need. And there we go. And that card's reusable. Take some cleaning and all. What in tarnation is that? Probably one of these things I don't want to know. The one thing I'm definitely going to want to do before I run this wire through the door is I'm going to want to put a casing on it. So I got this webbing I got a long time ago, but this will help prevent chafing, or at least cut down on it. Right, there we go. Takes a little bit to get started, but once it gets started, got a nice sheath on there. That'll work good. Stick the other end through the door. Clear this thing so my child will be quiet. And now that I've got it run through here, just to keep my, whatever you call this, the sheathing or whatever in place, just gonna put a little bit of E6000 glue here, and that'll keep it from getting eaten up and going where it doesn't belong and not serving any purpose. So now, just need to make sure it's clear of all the tracks. And this right here is what happens when you leave the window down for 10 years. So anyway, obviously this door card is not safable. So I'm not going to worry about this one nearly as much. But I actually do have somebody who wants this armrest. Somehow or another that's still in remarkably good shape. Rub my dog. She's a big girl. Yes, Nellie Billy. Nellie's a good girl. Oh, that'll be. This is Daddy's girl right here. You too. Come here, Caroline. Caroline feels left out. Come on up. That's a good Caroline. I love you. Paul's enjoying the important things in life. Alright. So the wires are run for the lights. I'm going to tie them into the same thing that runs the dome light. That'll work fine. And again, the E6000, that's just going to keep things from moving and getting sucked in, kind of like a sock getting sucked down a shoe. If you never used E6000 glue, and nobody paid me to say this, but that's some pretty good stuff. It's formable, paintable, it dries good. The only downside I think is it's a little on the stringy side, but heck, I fit steering wheels with it. I fit dashes with it. It's quality stuff. I do recommend it. Alright, so this is a moment I've been waiting for a while. The mirror on this side. The other side was straightforward, just screwing the holes. This one we got one that's ripped out. I'll show you a picture. Anyway, I'm going to show you all how to make this work. First of all, I want to clean this area. Truck's going to get power washed soon, but I want to trap this dirt under it. And thank you. Two that still have anchors, very straightforward. Go ahead and tighten them up. Actually, I should say I'm just going to put them in loosely just to hold it for the time being. Now, really it's not that difficult what I'm going to do down here. Now, at one point in time I had screws to match it, and I'm sure it's around somewhere, but I can't find it. What I do have is a stainless bolt and a really big fender washer. So go stick this through on the other side. And yeah, it is stainless even though it's stained. Go figure. Actually, I'm going to put a little blue never turn loose juice on it. And now, E6000 again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the washer here on the back side. And its function is more just to kind of keep the water out. But I'll also stick it in place until I get a nut on it. I mean, that'd be nice. Already got that gooey stuff on my hand. Another thing being is I've knocked the bolt out a couple times trying to get the washer on it. I put some tape across it. That's yellow duct tape. That's just temporary. It'll come off. Now, put the washer on again. This is also a good occasion to call upon a neighbor, kid, spouse, friend, whatever, to hold that outside while you're doing this. I think this is the third attempt to get this on now. Pretty simple, but pretty complicated at the same time. Really, it's just working blind. You can't see what you're doing everything by feel. Works like a charm. Now, like most things I do around here, that is a way to do it, not necessarily the way to do it. And if you're flying solo, nice grip on the nut or the bolt. That'll hold it while you're inside turning. A lot of times I wish I had gear wrench handy. So there we go. Now, I know this one bolt's a little different. If I hadn't lost the other one I had like these, it would match, but I'm not that concerned about it. The tent, I think I can wipe that down with some polish, get that good, but yeah, these 81 mirrors, they fit perfect on here. And don't look bad at all. And the stainless arm from the mirror also hides the hole. And we've got it glued up on the inside, keep the water out, and really, when I tighten that thing up and I have that stuff on the threads, there was no need to put the Loctite on it, but well, let's just see what happens when I put a little Brasso on it. Cleaned right up. Terrific. There we go. Now that stainless bolt. Yeah, and you see the two. They're obviously different, but if you're not really looking for it, I don't really think it's all that noticeable. But I'm happy. I'm the owner, so that's what counts. Alright, so now I'll wire up the tachometer. I'm putting this yellow wire in because, you know, well, peeps it. You know, nothing screams subtlety like a bright yellow wire. You know, black wouldn't blend in or anything. The reason I'm using this is because this is what I had. But anyway, I've run the yellow wire through the inner fender, through the radio antenna port, up through the dash to where the tach goes. Anyway, this end, go crimp a red butt connector on it with a lug and put it on the negative side of a coil. So that way it'll send the signal back, and the little thing, there's a little dial on the back of the tack that I'm using, and I have it dialed to sit cylinder so it knows, you know, what to read out. So anyway, let's go ahead and put a lug on this. I have the joys of a slant 6. The coil is right here. Now I really need to get in there and check and double check, make sure I know which side's negative. I think it's this one, but I'll have to check a little closer. But for right now, that's not important. What is important is where the devil did I put my crimpers. That is important. Just had the daggum things where I put them. Found the crimpers. They're under the butt connector box. Pretty good place for them, actually. Anyway, popping this red lug on. Crimper down. Now a little electrical tape to the connection just to secure it good. A little extra reinforcement never hurt anything. Alright. So now I'll just stick it there. And so where the tack goes right here, I got the other end of the yellow wire sticking out, and I've got enough for it to be serviceable. Again, these two are for my radio. I know a little taut, but once that all gets pushed back, it won't be a big deal. This is where I sent out my door light stuff, and the E6000 did exactly what I wanted to. It's secured in there good now. And I halfway wish I hadn't filled that hole in, because I didn't realize my little clock here. Where is it? Now I was only really interested in the clock function, just to have something on this side. But it's got two other leads, one for inside temperature. That one's simple enough, but the other one's for outside. And yeah, if I hadn't sealed up that hole, I'd just pop this out too and put it somewhere between the outer and inner fender. I don't really know where I should put this, to be honest with you. So I'll figure out somewhere to put this, and that's where it'll end up going. But nonetheless, for right now, I do need to run a hot wire for the clock. My question about this, and this literally came with no instructions, is do I wire it to switch power or to constant? And conventional wisdom would say hook it to constant, but at the same time that could drain the battery. I mean, I never sit much, but I don't drive this thing that often. The other wisdom says put it on switch so it just comes on, but I don't know if it has any way of storing time. I don't know what capacitors or whatnot may be in this. If anybody could translate that, please tell me. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Well, I pondered my dilemma, and I looked at some stuff I already had. Some of it I've had for over 20 years, never used. And this is what I came up with. I got it drying, it's wet with paint right now. But I got to thinking, vehicles that get driven frequently have things that are hooked to constant power and don't really draw the battery, but if it's a long time between drives, which is sometimes the case with these old vehicles, it might turn into one. So I decided to do the best of both worlds. I'm going to put a switch right here up under the dash. Find the bracket, paint it black, and I got a rotary switch one time to fix a light that was not savable over 20 years ago. Found it in my electrical bag. What in the devil is that? Found the old switch, decide, you know what, it's a good use of this one. I don't plan on putting any more toggles in the truck. It wouldn't really look out of place in the truck, especially putting it down here and everything painted black. You really won't notice it, but it is a good compromise for switch power and unswitch power. It's going to be, I switch it when I want power. Alright, so for 4 of the ghost lights, the ones I put in under the dash to shine on the floor, go through this a little bit because I did the same thing on my Thunderbird, is I wanted something that was rigid enough to hold them like they should be, but flexible enough that God forbid if I am in a collision, that it's not just going to be something cutting my feet, it's something that'll flex. And what I came up with then was a 5-gallon bucket lid. Well, what I have here is the piece I hadn't used for that project. When I did that one, I pulled out a woodworking bandsaw and I cut and did all that, and that's great. This time, I just don't feel like digging out of a garage. It's kind of buried now where it wasn't when I did that one. So I'm just going to use a sawzall. Alright, having cut this stuff both ways, I definitely recommend the bandsaw. The sawzall will get the job done if you don't have a bandsaw. Alright, so on the Thunderbird, the way that dash is way up under there, where I mounted them, I wasn't really concerned about the red plastic showing through. You really had to crawl on the ground and go through some pretty serious gymnastics to even find them. So I saw no need in not leaving it red. The truck, however, is different, and I think that you might be able to see a little bit of it. So for that reason, I'm going to paint these black. Alright, so switch installed. I really like it here because it's an easy reach down from inside, and also when you get out and you're standing like yay, you just reach in and do this. That makes it pretty handy. Even I think if I were to drop the window and reach in here, it'd be pretty easy to get to, so good location on the switch on my part. Alright, so I'm going to actually start putting power to some of this stuff. Now, the battery is not in the truck, so before you go cutting into wires and all, you want to make sure that your circuits are dead. But what I'm using here, I'm using suitcase connectors to tie into the dome light circuit. Now, a lot of people use lines with pliers of these. I'm using channel locks. I'll show you. You put both wires in there and you smash this, and this goes through the insulator and connects to the wire, and it's the jumper between the two. Just makes it very easy. Now these things supply some pretty dinky wires, and I hate messing with them because they're so hard to strip. It tends to just break the wire. So I thought back to my old home building days, back when home telephones were still a thing. And I guess they still probably use it now with Cat 5 and Cat 6 cable, but they used to use these a lot. And it's a little connector that you slide your wires in, and you take a pair of pliers and you press down on the little red button here. It's very similar to a suitcase connector. It does the splice. So rather than wire nuts, rather than butt connectors, I never tried this on a vehicle, but I'm going to try it because these are some little wires that they supplied. So I'm thinking this should work. I guess we're going to find out. Alright, so now it's time to pick a spot under the door to put this. And let's see, I guess right here, just past the drain hole. Good spot for it, as far as I'm concerned. And now for the Christmas tree bit. Perfect. Alright, so take the nut off, feed the wire. Now if you're wondering why I'm putting something faddish on a classic truck, it's because I like it. And also I like lights. I mean, if it was feasible, I'd have neon on this truck. No kidding, I would have neon somewhere or another. But that's just not, it's not practical, it's not feasible. Not the practicality part would stop me. The feasibility does. Alright. Connection is made, now just tape it up. Alright, go to the driver's door and that'll be finished. One more thing off my list. I can put the glove box liner back in now, but I've cleaned it and cleaned it and cleaned it with Lysol wipes, and this is the best I can get it clean. And while that is a drastic improvement over what it was, I'm doing this much work to the truck, I'm making it look good. I want this to look good too. It's one of these things nobody ever see it, but it bothered me. So anyway, I'm going to mist the inside of it black. I might leave it foggy, I might cover it good. It just depends on what I see when I do it. So anyway, let's make this black. Glove box liner. painted it black, and it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not sorry at all I did it. Go ahead, put that back in. What will we get on here? Wire. Redirected the wire behind the glove box rather than under it. Yeah, everything's fitting nice. A whole lot better. So this is my fixed up dash pad from the junkyard. One of the last pieces of anything that Phil Bates sold before they closed after so many years. But anyway, now I just gotta figure out what I did with the screws. Put this back on. We're really starting to come back together here. Alright. There. There's something about that just makes me feel better, just seeing how nice that looks up there. Got a little work to do on the other side, but now this is really bothering me. So I'm going to take care of that. Alright. Tape up complete. I gotta say one thing though. That's after dinner time, and you're getting hungry, and you use the grocery store ads to mask up. It don't help the situation. Believe it or not, this whitish color dash here was originally blue. See right here, there's a couple magnets on the dash where it's shining through. The ashtray, for whatever reason, did not fade. So, I did the best I could do, matching a color to the rest of the interior, which just says it's original GM color, light metallic blue. But from what I can tell, it appears to match the rest of the interior pretty good. So that's what I'm going to paint the dash. Let's see how this goes. Alright, that's just one coat right there, but I gotta already say that looks a lot better. Alright, y'all gonna have to forgive me a little bit today because, as you can hear, I'm sounding a little hoarse. And that's because here in Virginia it is pollen season. And it's getting to me a little bit. So I guess the first step is start doing some unmasking. Alright, I'm right pleased with how that looks. That don't look bad at all. What you think? Oh, that's pretty sweet. Alright, so the door panels. These are ones I got out of a RAM charger a while back. And a while back I redyed them blue, and I made these inserts, and I'll put a link to those videos down in the description or up top, depends. Anyway, it's been a little while since I did these. It took me a little longer than I thought to get to this. So they've been thrown around the garage and scuffed a little bit, so I'm going to just do a little bit of touch up right now before I put them in. Another thing I'm going to work on right now before I put everything back in is I want to get this shift boot collar, or whatever you call this thing, painted up and looking like $1,000,000 bucks. Well, painted up and looking like 37 bucks, how's that? So anyway, get this off. I'll see if I can't clean that rust off. If not, I'll just put some silver paint on it. And I got a kind of a neat leather boot replacement to put on this. I can't wait to show that to y'all. And then this, I just want to put a fresh coat of paint on it. I'll probably end up replacing those screws with stainless. Ah, for Pete's sake, come on. Don't do this to me. Got some quad alt steel wool. I'm going to try to see if this cleans this up to a standard I'm happy with. Alright, I was not a believer in this. Now I am. Let me go ahead and turn this black. Alright. That's not looking bad either. Alright, the dash. Time to address this elephant in the room. The radio. This part's broken out right here. And actually, my other gauge cluster does not contain this. So, I actually have most of what broke out of it. Most. I got a piece of packing strap cut to length. So, I'll give you one guess as to what I'm going to use to hold everything together. I swear, E6 Salsa is not paying me for this. But I will be glad to accept. If anybody from, what is this made by? Manufactured by Eclectic Products. Anybody from Eclectic Products watching? twolabsgarage@gmail.com. I'll happily accept sponsorship and unlimited tubes of this stuff. And they're probably like, why would we do that? You're doing it for free for us. Anyway, gonna put some glue on the strap. I'm also gonna put dab here in the middle. Now, I've never done this method of repair before. In fact, I don't ever remember having to do a repair like this. So this is all an experiment. There's that. Now let's just sit this in here. Oops. Go this way, maybe? Yeah, it goes this way. Give that a little chance to cure up. Alright, so the ground for the clock I'm going to use when I screw this piece of the dash in. I do need to put a lug on that, but let's go ground that. Now, I guess I'm going to let this piece dry. I guess it's about time to get to work on the door panels. Alright, one thing I did think of real quick before I put the door panels on is I want to make sure I got the ghost lights twisted right. So I expect I'm going to have to put a battery in here real quick and just see how we're pointing, literally. Well, it's working. I can see it right here on the palm of my hand. That's actually aimed correctly. Alright, I'm going to use a piece of floor pan, see if I can't get this thing pointed the right direction. I can see, I hope that's showing up on camera. But yeah, she definitely needs to be turned. One thing I'll do too is I'll put a little dab of glue on there just to try to keep it from rotating during road vibrations, because reaching in the door because of door panel really won't be an option. Yeah, it needs to be reclocked too. There we go. Good evening from Two Labs Garage. Alright, these are the ghost lights, how they look at night. Passenger's door. I don't have all my carpet laid out yet, but that's the passenger's floorboard. Driver's door. It's getting on the brake pedal, but it's not the end of the world. Let's make this door look like 47 bucks. So, there's old expression, you take a step forward and you take two back. That's where I am right now. I'm not talking about where I accidentally messed up the door panel a little bit. Though that will have to be addressed. I don't have any door keys to this truck. And we already know I don't have the right ignition key. And I think it's something just jammed in there. So, I bought some locks and forgot about them. To install them, I gotta take the door panel back off. So, anyway, alright. Also, I didn't notice this was pitted up like it is. So I think I got the panel off and I'm doing some repair work to it. I might that and make it look a little better. I've done this before, but never on a Dodge. But it feels like every other one. Alright, so this was already unhooked. So, after you get that clip off, you just push it out of the door and work this C-clip or E-clip, whatever letter you want it to be, off. Stick it back through the door. You know, try to use the new clip. Sometimes they really fight you and you end up using the old ones because it's easier that way, but I got new hardware, I'm going to try to use it. Now some manufacturers put this little tab right here in the door jamb where you can pop it from outside and you'll have to crane your arm and the screwdriver and all up in the door. Dodge did not do that. Don't know why. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just the way that it is. So anyway, go run this clip on there, reach around, keep it pushed in, use a tool to push with. Why? Hey, what else can I find that would do that? Perhaps some light encouragement from an attention getter. That worked. Now see if I can't figure out how this thing's supposed to go into the door. Alright, so it's come fairly evident to me. I'm going to have to go by a body shop supply house, probably pick up some lunch and all. But before I go, as you see, I've masked this off. I'm going to give, just because of the spots right here, I'm going to mist some paint on, and I'm going to try to feather it in so it doesn't look like two different paints, but here goes nothing. So far not looking too bad. Just go do the same thing on the other side and then head out. Alright, so I'm going to try to explain this best I can. But when you got a rod that's come off, you've got a little plastic connector like this. And this little doohickey right here, you punch into the mechanism where it goes, and that holds it in. And then you sit the rod in there, which springs this part out and makes it hold. And then you twist this over like so, and this clips over the rod. It's kind of hard to show because it's inside the door. I can barely see it myself. I got a couple extras, come from Napa. For GM and Chrysler, they use the same one. It's a number 7352783. I hope that helps somebody. The allergies, I guess you can tell, they getting worse. Another thing I like to do when I got the door panels off and I got good access to the guts of the door is I like to lubricate all the moving parts in there. So first off, the latch mechanism, I'm going to take my dollar store version of WD-40 spray lubricant. Stuff actually works decent. The passenger side door, the lock will actually get stuck, and just spraying this on it was all it took to fix it. Next thing I'm going to lube the teeth, but I'm going to use something different for that. And this right here for latch, on this particular door, I'm going to leave that till after I have the door panel on and then use my straw to spray this, because as of right now, it sticks like that, and that greatly assists me getting the latch on and off. Once I know I'm not going to need to get in this anymore, then I'll put my straw on, spray that spring and the hinges up, and then I'll be happy. The other thing I like to do when I got these door panels off is grease the teeth on the window regulator. I started doing this with my Thunderbird. Now, Thunderbird used to eat power window motors like they were candy. And I thought one day, I was like, man, the grease on the tracks is dry, or the teeth. This doesn't appear to have any at all. But anyway, I was like, that's all dry. Let me clean that off, and I had a can of grease and put some of that on there. Have not broken a window motor since. I've done that on other vehicles when I've replaced motors. I've never had failure since. I've told some of my friends when they do work, I'm like, hey, while you got everything off, grease up your gears. And maybe spray a little silicone lube on the felts. And they've all told me that they noticed increase in speed of how fast the window goes up and down. And they also, nobody has told me that they've had a motor fail since then. So even though I know these are manual windows, I think it still helped to. And normally I like to oil the hinge up here with old motor oil, because that stuff's abundant. Can't seem to put my hands on my oil can, my little squirter thing, so I'll probably just end up shooting some spray lubricant up there. But nonetheless, on the teeth here, gonna use some grease. My aforementioned can ran out when I did the wheel bearings on my Dodge truck, on my other Dodge truck. So right now I'm just kind of squirting it out of the tube. Just gonna stick my crank handle on here and do this. Yeah. What in tarnations? Yeah. Well, when I got this truck, this window was busted out. So that might have something to do with what's going on here, but yeah, she froze up. I never knew that. I'm gonna go get me a squirt thing, get up here and get these pivot points, see if I can't bust this window loose. May need the high test stuff in this, but let me see what this will do. And now, alright, these tracks in here, I put the Lucas Red and Tacky in there. Sprayed up in there to get the hinge points. And as you can see, all the teeth are lubed. And here's the thing, just don't force it. Let it just go down and up. Work it back and forth. Just, every time it'll get a little easier. Gonna take this glob of grease on the end that's not doing anything. Put some grease on this end. Alright, now for real, let's put this door panel on. Alright, let's get it on. Alright, for these lower ones, I'm just going to take a drill bit, put in 3 little holes, one right here in the middle. I'm not real happy about doing this, but it is what it is. Switch to a Phillips bit because I don't want to use those head self-tappers on this. I got a better idea. At least I think it's a better idea. You think it's a better idea? Alright, I'm going to use these screws that have every big head. It's kind of like a washer screw combination. Put them in one at a time, obviously. Now I'm just going to take my blue dye, my door paint, move the dog out of the way. Love you, but you need to move. And the screwhead's blue. That way, they don't just pop out and scream, "Here I am, I'm a screw." They you kind of gotta look for them to know they're there now. Now I see I got a little bit of touch up to do up here on the paint. That's alright. I get a spray shield out in a minute and just go touch these areas up. Alright, so for now I'm going to reuse this window crank. Yes, this is the one that's missing the knob on it. And while that's unfortunate, it's not the end of the world. And I'm pretty sure I can find another one on eBay. So just for the interim, for the time being, I am going to stick this one back on just so I have something. Well, it's on there. I'm not real happy with it, but we shall see what I can come up with. I may look up, see if there's a ram charger group out there. Maybe I can get some ram charger window cranks that would fit better. Knowing what I know now, I'd have grabbed them from the junkyard from the same ram charger I got the door panel off of. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Well, excuse the trash in the truck, but that's how we're coming together. She ain't looking bad. Got a little ways to go, and that's alright. But we are definitely moving the right direction now. Alright, so here's the driver's side. Unfortunately, the person that had the ram charger didn't know about taking this bolt out of a door latch, so they notched out bigger. But really, it's not all that noticeable. I'm willing to accept it. And that's one of the downsides to working on a Mopar or one of the other smaller makes, like say you had International pickup or something like that. Things aren't necessarily reproduced. Like I would never have used a door panel like this if it had been one of my Fords, because well, Fords are plentiful to find used parts for, and they reproduce them. Nevertheless, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. This does fit the whole budget build theme, so really I have hardly anything in those door panels, and they look pretty good. Alright, so I'll show you all what I did here real quick. There's a piece of the blue tape back behind this as well. I put that one on first, put the E6000 in this void, and then I put the masking tape over top as well to kind of hold it in place and so it'll form up and hopefully be a complete repair on that, at least enough that the faceplate will have to rest. I'll just show you here. Now the camera's actually picking up more than the naked eye is, but yeah, it's looking a whole lot better. And I can live with the imperfections. At least it's not a hole now, but the black, I'm happy. And if I wasn't, I could go back and put some more filler, aka E6000 in there. Use some masking tape to give it a little bit of texture, but yeah, good enough for me. Almost to the line, good enough for a girl's wee date, but you get the idea. Good enough for me. Alright, so another day, another whatever. Good news is this floating ground thingy has arrived. So let's see if here's a knife. Imagine that, I got a knife. Floating ground adapter. Input output. And I sure hope there are none of those one-way diodes in there, because I'm going to have to put it in backwards. Because the floating ground I got is where it says output, and it says input where I'm going to be spitting it out. We're going to hope this works. If not, I'm about to do a whole lot of work for nothing. So the issue I had the other day was when I went and stripped the red wire, the insulator came forward, and we got some exposed wire back here, and I believe red, if I'm not mistaken, if I haven't forgotten already, is switch power. So we really don't want that wire exposed. Now getting in here to tape that up with something be pretty difficult, replacing that wire. I don't know how feasible. And I guess I could just break it here, put some heat shrink on it and reconnect it, but instead I'm going to use this stuff I call liquid tape. Now I guess the proper thing to do would be use red. I only have black, so black it is. The knob that was missing, I've got a solution on that. I looked up online and I did a lot of research, so you don't have to. And the Audi knobs, factory or replacement Audi knobs, fit these. So anyway, try to be a little ginger with this. I guess the first thing is a speedo cable, if I can make it reach. Or which one's got less liquid? Come on, there we go. Alright, now just took the speedo back up. Alright, there we go. I'll just gently maneuver this in. Alright, now let's just get this up under here. This one's going to just be a little bit of a pain to line up, but that's alright. That's okay. This is going to look good. So go ahead and replace with the ones that, at least I think they came out of here. I guess they did, I don't know. Right here. And to ground the radio, I'm going to take advantage of all this area here that is covered up in sheet metal or covered up by the dash. It's going to go right there, nice and easy to get to spot. And put a self-tapper right there, and she's grounded. Alright, so this is a pretty big milestone. At least in my opinion it is. Got the area behind the dash wired up. I got the wires tucked. Everything should be good. Now, I can go a couple different routes from here. I do still need to get the stuff that goes here, the face of the dash on, and I need to get the pad on, which will probably be my next move. This looks like it might be a little cockeyed. It is. I'm gonna have to tighten that up a little bit. That's not a big deal. We'll get that. This screw, the wires through, yeah. Now I just need to figure out where I put all those speed nuts. Get this all tacked in here. But we are definitely moving the right direction now. I'm excited. This is really looking good. Alright, so there's two issues with the dimmer switch down here. The biggest one is it doesn't work. The second one is there's so much crap in the screw heads that I can't just unscrew that one. So what I'm going to do in that case, get my new switch and label my wire. Alright, mustard on top. Alright, so ketchup on the front and black is back. Works for me. Work for you? Hope so. So anyway, let's get this done in here. I'm going to take the channel locks and whatnot, just disconnect everything. Just tuck the wires up here for now. And now I need to remove the switch. So I'm going to very gently remove these screws in a way where I can reuse them. Alright, now let's see if I can encourage this thing out. Alright, let's see what happens. Removed. Hot! Now most of the time I would say just, do what you need to do, remove the rest of these screws and put it right back where it was. But since I am using Ford carpeting, I'm going to save this till later, and I'm going to see if there's any way I can make it line up with the hole in the Ford carpet. I got a little flexibility, so I've got my terminals marked: mustard, ketchup, black is back, so I can put this away and come back to it, and I know what I need to do. These little interior badges, sometimes the tabs break off the back. And that's what's happened to this custom badge that goes onto the dash here. Got broke off tab. Still has one of the good ones, but heck, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to treat it like we're both broke. And you might not have any tab, but what I do is I just put a little bit of E6000 on it. Don't need a whole lot. And I'm not being sarcastic this time. You really don't need a whole lot. And you just stick it in. And particularly if you have completely broke off tabs, you can put a piece of painter's tape over top of it and hold it in place. But since I still got partial tabs, I don't need to do that. Now clearly the interior is already pretty well stripped, at least from here down. But there's still a couple more things I want to remove. First off is these seatbelt latches. I'm going to reuse them, but just for laying the carpet and all, I'm going to take them out temporarily. Now just a rag to give the floor pan one good wipe down before I bring the carpet in. feel like I've pretty well got the back half where I want it. The front part I think will be long enough. But I'll show you real quick what I did here. Take you off the stand real quick. Alright, I've got the carpet pretty much lined up with the back wall. About that much gap there. And the other side pretty well matches. So what I'm going to do here, and this may be wrong, but I'm doing it anyway, is I'm going to put a couple zip screws in the carpet there just to hold it in place. After that, I'm going to cut as small as I can get away with a place for that shifter to go in, and then we'll get it laid up there in the footwells. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right between the two should be halfway. Alright, we are to the point of no turning back. Right now we're just trying to stick to what's necessary. Don't want to go overboard. I can trim more later once I get my final fit. Alright, now let's see how we fit. That's right there. Is that so? That's supposed to be there. Alright, how are we looking so far? Not bad. Not bad, not perfect. Never said perfect, but not bad. Could go a hair further that way, which I can accomplish by trimming right here with this old knife. There you have it. F-150 carpet and a Dodge truck. It don't look bad at all, really. I mean, does it fit perfect? No. Did I really think it would? No. Did I really come out good for no more than I have in it? Yes. So there's a variety of methods for finding seat belt holes, seat mounting holes. The best thing in the world is just a cheap soldering iron, one of the pencil-shaped ones, and crawl under the vehicle, find where the place in the floor pan or the frame or whatnot is that holds the through the carpet, and that'll work really well. If you don't have one of them, screwdriver works great. Just want one that's small enough to fit in the hole, long enough to poke through the carpet. So obviously I'm going to be using the screwdriver. I should have one stuck out on the passenger side, and maybe with the information gathered from that, I can find the drivers from up there. How great it's up under here. Oh boy. The fun never ends. Alright, so I'm going to have to remove this. No biggie. Alright, so I'm going to need to get right there. Alright, there we go. Alright. Through. And alright. There's that one. Now let's see if I can't find the other one from up here. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so I guess the next thing that needs to go in is this tray I'm putting behind the seat. And again, this came out of a 2nd gen Ram, like my green shop truck. It actually has one of these, that's how I knew that even such a thing existed. But I got one out of junkyard. Don't know exactly what year. But the way they hook in there is using these tabs. Well, I don't have such a provision in this truck and I want it to go all the way back. So I'm going to remove these tabs. And not much to it, just cut. Cut. And because where the clips are bolstered a little bit, that's where I'm going to want to run my screws. So I'm going to put a couple tabs of painter's tape to mark them. That way I'll know where I put my screws. And this is very, very easily removable. So now I just need to reinstall this thing.
Was that a daggum frog?
Alright, a brief detour on my plans. I did mention earlier I found where somebody had mounted something here in the past and there were some holes in my cab. Well, I'm going to plug them. For that, I'm just going to put these pop rivets in. Again, they're not serving any purpose other than simply to plug the hole. Alright, so I got the seat out of storage. And my plan was, since I'm in a little bit of a hurry, just to put it in and some of the little attention things it needs, to do them later on. I come back to it. Well, after I dug all the you-know-what off it and saw it, I decided, nope. This is getting done first. But the other thing was this upholstery is atrocious. And I was just going to put it in, clean it later, but after seeing this, no, we're not doing that. We're cleaning it right now. Alright, so I'm going to knock down the initial soil level using this cleaner that's totally awesome. I know it's totally awesome because it says so right there. Stuff comes from the dollar store. It's probably dollar for dollar the best cleaner on the market. Anyway, just gonna clean the heavy soil off. Got a pretty good spot right there. Just go through, get the fumes are pretty strong. Alright, so now it's time to shampoo this seat. I'm going to use this Bissell thing I got. Mix up the formula perfect directions. But I have used this thing before to bring back some pretty nasty upholstery, so let's see if it's got another one in it. Alright, so that was approximately 7 minutes with that machine. Not too bad. But also, stand back here and show you, I did half the seat. The side to your left, I didn't touch. Only the right. So, that give you an idea. I'm just going to go over it some more. I see stuff like this is sort of a stuff like that. I think that's just where the fabric's a little thin, but I'll go over that. And this, I think somebody used to smoke in this truck, but it doesn't smell like smoke. That's a good thing. and it's really cleaning up well. Now I'll just show you. This cleaner is nothing special. Came from Walmart. Just pretty basic. Alright, so I stopped at this point because, well, my fluid ran out. I'll just show you the fluid that's in here. Ooh, crap. Yeah, I spilt it all over the ground. Luckily did not get on the seat, but look at this stuff. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Now typically I like to put the seat in from the passenger side, but unfortunately some idiot, myself, has parked a car here. So looks like it'll be the driver's side this time. Now it's all clean, I don't want it to hit the ground. Definitely needs to get out this way. Alright, so that'll do it for this episode of a multi-part series of doing the budget build on the interior of this truck. I'm also working on a budget build for the mechanical and the body. So lots of budget build stuff on this truck coming up. And yes, I am doing a Mopar on a budget. It can be done, but I must say I was a little surprised at how difficult a Mopar would be on a budget. But we got a lot of stuff left to do in here. So anyway, until next time, take care of your projects, take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless. See you again soon. Have a great day.